All right, this is a supplement to my last broadcast, which, I'm sorry, I don't want to make this, I don't like to talk about religion, I don't like to talk about my tribal ways and everything else. There are people going to ask me, well, if you're an atheist, why are you so tribal? Again, I have to say that I'm tribal because I can't afford to leave my people unprotected, my tribe. Because in this world, in this naked ape world, it's everybody for themselves. Everybody's tribal, I believe. And one day we may be able to outgrow that and evolve beyond our tribalism, but we don't know. I don't know if that's ever going to happen. The human race is in a savage period of its evolution, and I don't know if it's going to evolve beyond that. There may not be a human race in another 500 years. I mean, there may not be in the United States of America. Now, there's a lot of liberals out there, like Cenk Uygur, who I respect as a newscaster. The only thing I don't respect about Uygur and the Young Turks is that they are ignorant about Judaism, Jewish history, and they revise history like this guy, Reverend Bill Barber, did at the Democratic National Convention when he called Jesus a brown Palestinian Jew, and he was really a brown Judean, because that's what it was called at the time. And I remember that Cenk was sitting there, and when he said brown Palestinian, I thought Cenk was going to have an orgasm. I swear, I thought the lens of the camera would be covered with sperm, because he sat there, oh yeah. Sorry, but history, the Romans first they named us Judea, and then because we wouldn't knuckle under them, we had this war with them, then they insulted us by naming Israel Palestine, and they even renamed the capital of Israel, Jerusalem, by another name. I forget the name at this moment, but they did. The fact of the matter is, we all have a way of looking at our history, all have a way of looking at how the world is, and many of us look at our world through these tribal eyes. And I mean, some people can go beyond that, but in this case, again, regarding the Jews, the so-called Palestinians, the Israel, I said this and I'll say it again. When people's Bible teaches them to hate somebody, there's never going to be a way to have peace with these people unless they revise their whole scriptures. We, the Jewish people, the Hebrews, the ancient Hebrews who divided up the world. They divided up the world. See, why do I call myself a member of the Jewish tribe? Because ancient Hebrews decided to divide up the world. What the fuck do they have a right to do that? But that's what they did. They divided up. This is for the Jews. This is for the Hebrews. And if you read the Bible, you'll see how they divided up, right? They said, well, how are we going to divide up this world? No one's going to believe our asses, right? Oh, I know. Let's invent a supreme being told us. And back in those days, every person would believe anything. Come on. I mean, a supreme being talks to you? Those dickheads believed that the earth was the center of the universe, the earth was flat. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, what people read and value as a religious text, right, were written by all these ancient men, all different people. Not one person. And they divide up. And in the Hebrew Bible, everything imaginable nasty is said about the Canaanites and the fellow tribes. They slept with their mothers. They slept with their fathers. They slept with their kids. They slept with their animals. They bowed down to feces. I mean, every law in Leviticus about who you're supposed to sleep with, that's what the so-called pagan Canaanites did when they... So, God, quote unquote, commanded in Manifest Destiny. Because the Jews, we, unintentionally, I don't know, we invented something called Manifest Destiny, which every other civilization, like the cursed white Europeans, went over here to decide, oh, we're going to kill everybody because we have a right to, because that is the law. That is the religious law. Even though the Bible, the men of the Bible, are only referring to those ancient Hebrews. Go in there and take away the land of the pagan tribes. Okay. All right, so that was the hate object of the Hebrew Bible, because Bibles have their hate objects. That's how it makes them so wonderful. And then we have the hate object of the Christian Bible. See, when the Christians decided to attach a supplemental New Testament to the Hebrew Bible, the Jews were the enemies. The Pharisees, they go, well, we don't hate the Jews. We only hated the Pharisees. The Pharisees were the rabbinic Jews. There were the Pharisees at that time when Jesus was running around, the rabbinic Jews. There was the Sadducees. Those were the priestly upper class, the priestly Jews. And there were the Essenes. Those were the mystical Jews out in the desert. During the siege of Masada, where hundreds of Jewish men, women, and children committed suicide rather than submit to Rome, many of them were Essenes. So there are many complicated things involved with this whole thing. I, as an atheist, have to be part of my tribe. I have to be part of my tribe because of what my tribe has gone through as a part of the nations of the world, okay? But at the same time, as much as I support Zionism, as much as I support the state of Israel, I live in America. I was born in America. I pay my taxes in America. And I owe America, the United States of America, the first move. I would love to have a wonderful life in Israel. I mean, I'd love to be able to visit. I never visited, never lived there. But I would love to see a wonderful life in Israel. And every person, take the so-called Palestinians and put them in Jordan where they belong, because that was where they were supposed to be. Who decided to create, when the Balfour Declaration was made, and they're supposed to be a Jewish and Arab state? What happened? They put a Jordan in there? Oh. I mean, in 1948, when Israel declared its independence, it didn't have any of the so-called occupied territories. Why the hell did they go to war? The Muslim Arabs go to war with them then. See, it's all about religious hatred, and it's all about there's no compromise. There's no, two-state solution. They hate us. Well, we would be able to live with them, but they want our tribal lands. So we have no other choice but to defend ourselves against them. In comes Donald Trump and Friedman and, Obama was anti-Semitic, quote unquote. Obama was blah, blah, blah. Obama. I didn't like the Obama policy toward Israel. I don't know. I did not like the Israel policy as stated by Bernie Sanders. I did not like that he added Cornel West and James Zogby, Bernie Sanders. But you know something, folks? I voted for Bernie Sanders, and I voted for Obama twice because I live in this country, and I have to give this country the moves first, and which I will, because if this country, if people in this country are suffering, it is not good for Israel, it is not good for the rest of the world, and it's certainly not good for my tribe, the Jews. So I reject David Friedman. I reject everything this prick Trump is trying to do, because all he's trying to do is incite violence in the world by doing what he did, by making this selection, to incite violence, to cause another 3,000 people to be murdered, maybe, or more, to inflame a war in the Middle East so that he could have a war too, so that we can pay for this war, more innocent young kids to be murdered. I reject David Friedman. I reject Donald Trump. I reject his tax cuts because I'm a tax patriot. I told you that before. I reject everything this creep is trying to do because all it's going to cause is the death of our planet. I wish we were more advanced. I wish we weren't such naked apes.